Hey there, Squirrel Army, how's it going for today? In today's video, we are discussing whether better is always better. If you're enjoying the content here, you can join the Squirrel Army by subscribing. I know that's kind of a weird statement to make, but that's one of those things that, if you continually make your decks better, is that always the best thing to do? I get some people saying and commenting and whatnot, well, I could make a better deck than this, or whatever, or I could make a better video than this. Well, I'm still waiting for the proof on that, in the pudding and whatnot, because the proof is in the pudding. But anyway, is it always better to make your deck better? And in a sense, yes, it is always good to make your deck better, but at a certain point, do you really need to make it any better? Because it might be the best that it can probably be at a certain point, because hey, well, yes, I could put maybe one or two more cards in here to actually make it better, but is it the deck that I want it to be now? That's the question, I guess, that it sort of starts coming to. What is it that you actually want from your deck? Because I could build any number of my decks to be the highest level power of CDH deck or whatnot. I could try to do that sort of thing and then be like, oh, okay, cool, that's great. They're the best that they could be. But is that the thing that I actually want? For me, no, that's not what I want. So I never do that. That's just a thing that I just never do, because it's like, well, why am I doing that? Why is this the route that I'm going down? This makes no sense to me, because, again, I have no concept of, that as far as playing it. It's like, to me, that's just worse, because it's so difficult to pilot and such a different metagame to be in, to what I normally play, that it'll be worse for me. And I just don't care about competitiveness and whatnot to that extent. It's just, well, I'm not interested. And at a certain point, it's just like, well, either I'm the one, making the gameplay so uninteresting for all the other players that I'm just going to go, okay, cool, I've won, or whatnot, or I'm going to be the one sitting there going, oh, cool, this is boring, because I never really get to do anything except for go, oh, wow, cool, I've just won, or just watch somebody else go, oh, cool, I just won, and you guys never really got to do very much of anything, and there wasn't any real game to the game. That's what interests me. So, again, I think what's better for one person or whatnot, strategically or unstrategically, isn't really the biggest factor in playing Commander and in playing Magic in this more casual environment. If you're in, again, I've said this thousands of times, I have nothing against CDH, it's just not for me, and it never will be. That is just the way that I don't want to play. It just does not interest me. It doesn't have anything, going for me and for the way that I wish to play, at least to me. Like, again, some people can explain it any way, which way they want to me, and I'll still go, well, that just doesn't interest me. So making my deck better to making it that powerful, just to me, doesn't do anything. So I'm just not interested in making my deck that powerful. Again, you could say, well, you could choose a better commander for this deck or for that deck or whatnot. But then, that takes away that element of fun or interest that is inherent in that commander, inherent in the synergies that is built within that deck. Again, if you say, well, what's, the end goal of the deck or whatnot? How do you actually win or whatnot? And things like that. Well, yes, you could make things more efficient again and whatnot, or you could just say, okay, cool, I'm just going to kill people and win, in some other way. But again, that takes away the interest for me. I want to not just win. Like, that's the thing. Like, I want to have a fun game. I want to have a fun experience. I want to, have trial and have error and have all these sorts of things. I don't want to just win. I still would like to win, but, again, that's not my main goal. My main goal is, okay, cool, I'm going to see what my deck can do today and whatnot, or I can want to see what my friend's deck does today, and maybe it's a special occasion, or whatever, especially since it's coming towards the end of the year at this point. I want to organise a big game with all of my friends and whatnot, or as many people as what I can. So I really want to play with their fun decks and see what their decks are doing and, whatnot and all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'd be interested in. And again, you could say, well, powering my deck down is actually better for me because, hey, I've got a whole bunch of friends that are actually playing at a lower power level. So I think the idea of what better is deterministic upon what that actually means for what you're trying to do. Not just, oh, well, my deck is a power 10 deck, so it is better than your deck, or whatever. Yes, maybe it is better than my deck, but my deck is a much more synergistic deck or whatnot based upon, the idea of what is this commander all about. Now, perhaps that's not the best commander, but for a lot of these precons or a lot of these deck upgrade guides that I do, that's what you've got to work with to an extent, and sometimes you go, well, this commander just isn't a really good commander, it really doesn't do a whole lot, or I can't really see a good build path for it at the moment, so hey, maybe one of the sub-commanders is just better and will be more fun or more interesting or have a better build path around it than the face commander. So you could argue that that's a way of looking at it, but again, that's to the degree of fun, again, not to make it better per se, to make it more fun, more interesting, to be working around something. So, I don't know, but that is my perspective upon what it means to have a better deck, is to have a more fun and more interesting or more synergistic deck, things that work well together. If I am in a sacrifice deck, I will take cards that help me sacrifice or do stuff when I sacrifice things. I have had a lot of people say, well, your Chatterfang deck could be a sacrifice deck. And I'm like, well, yes, it could, but that's not the deck that I am looking to build. So I'm just not doing that. That's not the point of the deck. It's not meant to really sacrifice the things that it's making. The idea is just to make things and hit people with said things, because it's so hard already to generate things so often, unless you're just infinite comboing them out, that it's like, well, you might as well just have those things to generate things and then kill people that way, because it's much more simple than going, well, now I've got to find my sack outlets or whatever, even if you have it on your commander or whatnot. Now I've got to find my sack payoffs and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. So that overly complicates the game plan of the deck, and you have to squeeze much more cards into slots. I know people will say, well, just cut lands, put, all the moxes in, blah, 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 all this stuff, blah, 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 put all the fast mana in there, etc. It'll be a better deck, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of the idea. Like, yes, perhaps it would be, but not for me. It would be a better deck for somebody else who wishes to play at that power level. I don't want to play at that power level. That power level does not interest me. And so it's not better for me. It might be a better deck and whatnot, but it's not better for me. So again, personal preferences or whatnot do come into it. So there's all kinds of little factors, your play group, your personal preferences, what you actually define as, like, better, because again, you could be saying, well, is this card actually better than this? Well, is it? It's debatably better because, hey, I at least get a benefit out of it versus, and this is something that I want to talk about more at length, is, getting a benefit and having to spend a little bit more mana, or just pure efficiency with a downside. So, yeah, that is also an interesting, back and forth conversation, and I think a lot of people who are much more spiky, I guess, will fall into that side of, well, just more efficient is just better. I don't care that it has a downside or whatnot. But anyway, I guess that's more of a discussion for another time. But anyway, those were my thoughts on this whole thing. I just wanted to quickly, kind of discuss this whole thing because I think, it's interesting to discuss some of those points and sort of bring them up. And again, I do feel that some people feel like, wow, my deck sucks or whatever, and I keep having people tell me my deck sucks or whatnot and all of that sort of thing. And I don't think that that's necessarily the case. And again, you see all these upgrade guides and whatnot, or you see all these primers and whatnot and things like that of how you can make decks better and things like that. So you feel that pressure to a degree to upgrade decks because it feels like, wow, so many people are upgrading their decks or whatnot, looking for these primers and whatnot and things like that. Why am I not doing it? Or I notice my friends are playing, more and more powerful decks all the time. They're playing more and more upgraded decks all the time. Like this time they had, two tutors. Next time they had three tutors. Next time they had five tutors. Whatever, etc. Next time they had one combo. Next time they had two combos. Next time they had three combos. One time they had one counterspell. Well, okay. Next time they had three counter spells, and they were all free counter spells and whatnot then, or whatever, so the ramping up of power levels sometimes happens like that, and it starts becoming, wow, I'm getting left behind and whatnot, but this is what I know, and this is the way that I want to play, so that's better for me, so maybe I should, not play with those people, or maybe I should look for other people to play with, or whatever. So it's all about finding your own space and finding what you want to do and what's best for you. Because, if you're not doing what's best for you, why are you kind of doing it? But those are my thoughts. That is it for this one. Hope you guys have enjoyed. You guys can let me know what your thoughts are on this. Write them down there in the comments below. I'll be sure to respond if I can. But hey, I hope to see you guys in the next one.